Good morning. My name is Rachel and I am a compulsive overeater. I admit to feeling quite nervous this morning, so I believe my higher power is with me and I hope he guides my words. I have just celebrated 13 years in OA, and I have to say the miracle continues one day at a time. Going back to my childhood, I was the oldest of 4 children, and it was a loving family, but I have to admit we were not encouraged to feel or discuss our feelings. We were encouraged to be happy, and as a parent, of course, we want our children to be happy, but if we felt angry or sad or upset in any way, we were encouraged to hold back on that and only be happy. So I learned very early that not only did I need to control my own feelings, but I tried to control my brothers and sisters as well, so that mum and dad would be okay. I got a lot of mixed messages, I feel, as a child. I'm not blaming my parents, but we were encouraged to eat up, clean our plate, don't waste food. But my mum also commented all the time, and still does, about people's weight, whether they are too heavy, too thin, and on people's eating habits. So there were very mixed messages. There were also messages that we always put other people first. Now, this is a good message. It is good to consider others. But it was as if we were told that we were not important. Our feelings, our opinions, our needs were less important than everybody else. So I learned that I was less important than everybody else. And I took that on board. As a child, I can remember very young stealing food. I would go to the pantry and I would help myself to sweet treats. Mum was a baker. She loved to bake. And I loved to be with her when she was baking. I think partly that was because it was time one-on-one with her, but it was also so that I could scrape the remnants out of the bowl or be first to get the treats out of the oven when they came out. So yes, I can remember being obsessed with food from a very young age. When I was probably around 11 or 12, I started to become very aware of my weight. And my mum encouraged me to go on diets. I went to my first pay and weigh in my teens, and the habit began. I dieted and lost weight and binged and gained weight for about 40 years of my life. My life had its ups and downs, I think, as everybody's does. I married at 18. I had my children in my early 20s. I was widowed in my mid-30s. I remarried in my 40s. And throughout all of life's ups and downs, my issue with my weight, my body image, my self-esteem were an ongoing problem. It was, my weight was either going up or it was coming down. At no point was my weight ever steady, and at no point was I ever comfortable in my own skin. I don't remember ever feeling that I was happy with my weight or how I looked at any point. Many times I lost considerable amounts of weight, and people would say to me, oh, you must be so pleased. You're looking so good. Aren't you delighted? And I would think, maybe just a couple more pounds, maybe just a little more, maybe just if my hips weren't quite so wide. I was always seeking to be more or less. So yeah, the symptoms of my disease, obsessive weighing. I would weigh multiple times a day and I would record it on charts, obsessively. I had multiple sizes of clothes in my wardrobe all the time. If I was big, my small clothes waited for me. But sadly, when I was smaller, my big clothes waited for me because I knew without doubt I would need them again. I isolated. I was not present for my children, for my family, for my colleagues, my friends. I wasn't even present for myself. I was always hiding. I ate in the car. I hid in the bathroom. I hid away from everybody. Sadly, I couldn't hide from myself. I had books and books. I had encyclopedic knowledge of calories and nutrition, and it never helped me in any way. I repeatedly had memberships of pay and weigh clubs. They didn't help. I had an unhealthy all or nothing attitude to exercise, the same way as I had with food. Either I was exercising like a mad fiend, or I was not moving from the couch. I was impatient with myself and others, and my perfectionism was off the scale, although I didn't know that's what it was at the time. I was a people pleaser, constantly seeking external validation because I felt so badly about myself. I used food for comfort, as an escape, as a reward. Food was my go-to no matter what the feelings were. I had a terrible absence of self-care. I didn't look after my teeth, my hair, my skin, my nails, nothing. I lived in constant fear. I can remember wondering what it would be like not to be afraid all the time. I just felt afraid of everything and everybody. I compared myself to others all the time, and I never came out well. I was always less than. I had classic imposter syndrome. I imagined that it's sooner or later, but usually I imagine sooner, that people would recognize me for who I felt I was. And that would not be good. And I would be rejected and isolated. And I was scared. Aged 52, I found a way. I wasn't looking for a way. I was looking for another diet, because that's always what I was looking for. A way to lose weight and keep it off. But at 52, I heard of a way for the first time. I knew nothing about a way or the steps. I was totally new. I came looking to lose weight, but I did lose weight, but I found so much more. Freedom from the obsession. It came quite quickly. I was blessed. I became abstinent almost immediately and have been imperfectly abstinent to this day, 13 years later. I find that freedom so peaceful without that constant chatter in my head. It's quite unbelievable how peaceful it feels. I have moments when the food calls, but it doesn't happen on a daily basis anymore. I have less negative internal dialogue. That voice that says I'm not enough has quietened
5
down.
minutes left.
Thank you. I have energy for life. I walk, which was something I wouldn't do at all before. I go to an exercise class and I love it. I enjoy doing things. I have energy. I have self-love. I think maybe this is one of the greatest blessings that I have in recovery, is I can say that I love and accept myself. I am far from perfect, but I am okay the way I am. I can voice and respect my own needs. I can and do respect others' needs, but not to the detriment of myself anymore. I can validate myself. That never happened before either. I have healthy routines. I care for myself. I can self-soothe appropriately. I can find ways to soothe myself. If I'm tired, I rest. I don't go to the kitchen. If I'm resentful, I can work through it in a healthy way. I can share it with somebody. I don't need to go to the kitchen. I have a balance in my life and my relationships. I can speak honestly to people. I can be there. I can be present. What a blessing for me. And I think for those around me too. I can accept life's ups and downs. Life isn't perfect. Life has challenges. But that's okay. I have my higher power. I have my fellows. I have my sponsor. I can live in this moment. I never could do that. I was always living in a future that was terrifying. And today I can live in this moment. These are all blessings that come through working the steps. And I try and work the steps each day. I remind myself before I leave my bed, I can't. God can. I'm going to let him today. And I ask for the willingness and the ability to try and follow what my God wants for me that day. Do I do it perfectly? No, I don't. But I try my best one day at a time. I've learned patience with myself. In the past, I needed everything right now. I couldn't wait for anything. But I'm learning patience. I am a wonderful work in progress. We all are. It's okay if it takes as long as it takes. I don't need to rush it. It's okay. I strive for progress, not perfection. And I have stopped looking for perfection in others. We are human. One of my sponsors' favourite sayings was, lower the bar. Lower the bar. Stop expecting too much from yourself. It's okay not to be perfect. Today, my mantra is pause, pray, proceed. And I have booked to get a tattoo of that on the inside of my wrist, just to keep reminding me.
1 minute left.
Thank you. So pause. Take that moment. Instead of rushing ahead of God, trying to lead the way, I pause to give God time to move in front of me so I can follow. I pray and ask for the willingness to follow, the ability to follow, and then I proceed. Do I get that right all the time? No, I don't. But I try. I try one day at a time. And I accept that I get it wrong sometimes, but that's okay as well. So today I will keep practicing the pause, pray, proceed. and I will try and trust my God to guide me and trust myself to follow. Thank you for allowing me to be of service today.